What's up, guys? Coach Piper here again, looking at another offensive preview for the 2015-16 NBA season. Today we're going to look at the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are an interesting team, especially this year. Last season they struggled with Paul George and his injury, and we're going to look and see if they can actually play him at the 4, where his best position is, what their roster looks like, and if they can find some success. Their calling card in the last couple of years has been defense, but I think Frank Vogel is one of the most underrated offensive coaches in the NBA. He runs some fantastic stuff, has some great action, has some really good sets. The best part I like about him, though, is he fits the system to the personnel he's given. So the last couple of years, they've had Roy Hibbert, David West. They played inside out. This year, with their weapons, they're probably going to play outside in. Go a little more small ball, a little bit faster pace, more ball movement, things like that. And I'm interested to see what he does with his personnel this year, because he's got a lot more flexibility in the offensive end with Paul George playing the 4. He's pretty much got a mismatch every time down the court, unless he's playing against Anthony Davis or somebody. But it will be interesting to see how he takes advantage of those mismatches and see what he can do, how many times he uses Paul George as a pick and roll, roll man, or pick and pop guy, or if he just looks to isolate him one-on-one more often than not, just to let him go to work on the slower 4-man. So we'll look at some of the stuff now. We are going to start off this breakdown looking at a set that Doc Rivers ran for Paul Pierce for a while in Boston. It's called elbow duck leak, where basically the ball gets passed to the elbow here. You're going to see the man who's receiving the screen is going to come into the paint here and try to duck his man in, and that's just really just decoy action. He's not actually looking to duck him in or anything. And then instead of coming here and setting a screen, he's going to hesitate, and he's going to come off a down screen from the big after he passes it to the other elbow. It's actually really good action. It was one of my favorite sets that Doc ran in Boston for Paul Pierce. It's on my YouTube page if you want to take a look at it. But you see him come in the paint here, look to duck in, and then slips out on the down screen looking to get a quick shot. They ran this for Paul George when he was healthy, and then some Chris Copeland and sometimes CJ Miles, as you can see here. Pass goes to the elbow, looks to set a screen, hesitates, comes out on the down screen. It's actually really good decoy action with a little bit of hesitation off of it. You see him duck in there and then come off the down screen. All right, next set we're going to look at is a lot of NBA offenses are based on the Phoenix Suns 2-down series, where the ball gets reversed to the big up here, reversed to the opposite wing. The 5-man's going to set a little flex screen or a cross screen for the man in the corner. He's going to come off it right here. What the Pacers do is, once they get their guy in the post, they're going to look to set a flare screen off of it. So they actually post up the 2 or 3-man, and then they're going to have a big come here and set a flare screen on the guy who entered it. So here it's Chris Copeland at the 3. He's going to come off the flare screen and look for a quick shot out of the post. So the post-up action is really a decoy action, which they do quite often actually in Indiana. Vogel's really good about being able to get the post up as the initial action, but it's really just setting up what they really want to try to get, which is a flare off the post. So I would look for this year Paul George to be the man passing the ball, because if they play him at the 4, then they'll be able to have him be the main guy passing it. His ball skills are good, so they don't have to worry about an errant pass. Then you can get action off that. So that way he's the passer. You look to get a mismatch. This next set is a nice post decoy set, where you get I think the first one's a George Hill post up. Essentially what's going to happen is his ball is going to go to David West. George Hill's going to cut into the post down here. He's going to enter it into the post. And what's going to happen is the guard on this weak side here is going to receive a triple screen out of the post. They ran this for Paul George when he was healthy. CJ Miles, I expect them to run some of this for Monta Ellis to get him off the ball and get him open on some good looks. You'll see here, you can see a triple screen right here, then peeling off of it out of the post into a handoff. And then this next one is a similar action where you should get a post up and then it's triple stagger. Set here is same kind of 2-down action. into a triple stagger screen for CJ Miles. So it goes into a handoff instead of a reversal in the post. It goes into a handoff, and then it goes into a triple stagger screen for CJ Miles. One of my favorite actions that they ran this year. It's a good kind of like decoy action to get the player coming off a triple screen. It's hard to guard for defenses. Next one we're going to look at is a horn set. It's horns into a double stagger, right? So you got big in the guard coming off a double stagger. Then it's going to be a handoff. So you got this guard in the corner here is going to come off it into a handoff and look to score. Depending on who they ran it for, they would run it to the right or the left. So like in this case, they're running it to the right, so CJ Miles can come off his left hand to his strong hand. If they run it for Rodney Stuckey, they're going to run it to the left, so that way he can come off into his strong hand, go to the right side, look to attack off it real quick. It was a pretty effective set that they ran last year. It'll be interesting to see if they do some of that this year, just because Paul George playing the 4, David West, was the main primary ball handler in this set, or Louis Scola in this set. So I assume Paul George would be able to do this, but being able to throw a dribble handoff and then set a ball screen isn't really a part of a small forward's duties. So you never know if he's going to be able to execute that, or if they want him even in that position. Maybe they'll do a handoff and then he doesn't set a ball screen, he slips it, or just gets open in different ways. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with that this season. All right, here we have a pretty common set in today's NBA. It's called Jungle Hoya Fence. I did a whole just couple minute video on it. Ray Allen ran it in the Heat. Pacers ran it before. The Warriors run it for Steph and Clay. Essentially, it's kind of built out of the elbow or corner offense series. Pass goes to the elbow. These guards play off each other. One curls, one pops out. The one who curls is the shooter, so that's who they're looking to get open. In this case, I believe it's George Hill. And then what's going to happen is when they pop out, so as soon as they cross, set a down screen, whoever pops out receives a pass or a dribble handoff here, then handles the ball on the wing, and then this guard cuts through elevator doors to the top from these two bigs ceiling right here. They ran a lot of this last year. They'll probably look to continue to run it this year. Vogel's run it for about 3 years now. It's a really good set, run by a lot of teams in the NBA, very effective. The difference between theirs and other teams is the bigs cross before. Normally, bigs don't cross for other teams like the Cavs who ran it this year. This is one of my favorite sets from the NBA season this year. It's a good wrinkle out of the normal zipper series, zipper into a pick and roll that a lot of teams run. In this set, you're going to see a little bit of a wrinkle. It's going to be a UCLA into a turn. He's going to set an up screen. He's going to come off it. Then he's going to catch it off the up screen and then receive a pick and roll. And then the flare screen is going to happen after that. Normally, it's a zipper cut into a pick and roll, but they wanted to get a little bit of action before it. And this is really good against teams that ice, because what will happen is after this big who received the up screen or sets the zipper screen is going to come across to this side right here. David West is going to set up for a ball screen here. And if teams ice it, like a lot of teams like to do, all you do is reject the ice, attack, and then it's almost like a hammer play where you got a flare screen back here for the guard on the weak side who cuts the corner. It's almost like a hammer play in the corner. One of my favorite actions that they ran all this year. And we saw some of the action in the FIBA tournament too. Argentina ran this set. It's a really good action to get some kind of misdirection out of a normal zipper pick and roll. So you can see the Bulls like to ice that here. And it's just a quick drive and kick to the corner. It's a good little flare action, especially because so many teams in the NBA like to ice the ball screen now. You can see reject and flare. All right, that's going to do it for my Pacers breakdown. If you guys have any questions about it or have any comments on it, drop them on here. Hit me up on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. Look forward to seeing what they do with Paul George, at the 4 position, if it sticks, if it works, if it doesn't work. And really excited to see that kind of play out as the season goes along and see them kind of play a little bit of chess match with other teams and force teams maybe to go small or force them to go big depending on the situation. Look forward to that and look forward to the next breakdown.